Welcome to this episode of The Common Sense Skeptic. We're taking a quick break from producing the breakdown of Tesla's 2024 Q1 call because this content is a little more time sensitive due to the fact that Tesla shareholders are already voting on the topics we're going to cover here. On May 3rd, 2024, Tesla Chair of the Board, Robyn Denholm, decided to release a video on VoteTesla.com imploring Tesla shareholders to vote yes on a couple proxy questions that will be determined on June 13th of 2024 at the AGM. Now, having the chair of a publicly traded company actively try to sway the vote after release of proxy materials on the questions certainly crosses ethical lines, if not legal ones, even if she was giving shareholders all of the right information. But you're going to see during this breakdown that that is not what happened here, so that will make her actions all the more inappropriate. We're going to play sections of her video, stop when information needs to be added for context, then give you a wrap-up at the end. But first, for those who have no idea who this woman is, Robyn Denholm ascended to the chair of Tesla in 2018 after Musk's 420 tweet fraud case was settled with the SEC, which, among other things, required Musk to vacate the chair of the board. Denholm was handpicked by Musk to replace him, and he has publicly stated that he has no issues whatsoever overriding her and the board according to his personal whim, as you can see here in this 60 minutes interview.
Did you handpick her?
Yes.
The impression was that she was put in to kind of watch over you.
Yeah, I mean, that's not realistic. I mean,
like a babysitter.
Yeah, it's not realistic in the sense that I am the largest shareholder in the company, and I can just call for a shareholder vote and get anything done that I want.
This was all very interesting because part of her duties at Tesla as chair was to force Musk to adhere to the conditions of his settlement, which included having Musk assigned a Twitter sitter to vet any and all tweets that Musk made that could be associated with or affect the company's image or fortunes. We've covered Denholm before in depth in our 4-part breakdown of her testimony in the Solar City self-enrichment trial, where she came across as a particularly inept chair, deferring to Musk and putting up no resistance to him, in breach of her fiduciary duty to the company. Instead, kowtowing to Musk, who in turn has made her an extremely rich woman, providing her with generational level wealth. This connection between the two has been noted in several court cases now, including the recent decision in Tornado v. Musk, so we will be going through that in short order. In the interest of full disclosure, based on the past research into her and reading her past court transcripts defending her actions enabling Musk, we find Denholm to be a particularly useless company leader, yet a very useful puppet for Musk to use as he sees fit. One that has, to date, not demonstrated an ability to honor her pledge as chair to act in the best neutral interest of the company. So let's get into this video and see what Denholm, in her official capacity as chair of the board, told shareholders, what she didn't tell them, and how we think this is going to play out for her, for Musk, for the company, and for the shareholders.
I'm Robyn Denholm, chair of the Tesla Board of Directors. On June 13th, we will hold our annual meeting of stockholders. This year, we have 2 especially important proposals that we have put forward, and we need your vote. These proposals are absolutely critical to fuel Tesla's future growth and the value of your investment.
Let's stop here for a second. Denholm is portraying the 2 questions that she's going to ask during this video as critical to the success of the company. However, since they are proposals number 3 and 4, there are at least 2 other questions that shareholders will vote on for this proxy that are not mentioned. So right off the bat, Denholm is giving these 2 proposals undue priority. Her first plea revolves around Proposal 4, the ratification, or rather re-ratification, of Musk's CEO Performance Award from 2018.
The first proposal relates to a decision you collectively have already made. In 2018, stockholders overwhelmingly approved a CEO Performance Award that incentivized Elon to lead Tesla and hit ambitious financial and operational targets in 10 years. Back then, these targets seemed so far-fetched, so extraordinarily ambitious, that the skeptics called them laughingly impossible.
Yes, in 2018, the shareholders did vote on this plan, and it passed by a considerable margin. However, what Denholm leaves out is that during Tornado v. Musk, it was found that the board intentionally omitted information in the proxy documents that was considered to be material to the vote, namely the fact that there were no independent board members involved with preparing the document and recommending that the vote go a certain way. Once again, the chair is making the same omission in a statement aimed at shareholders of the company during this video, and she is pretending the court was overriding the will of the shareholders when in fact the court was upholding shareholder rights to full disclosure.
If he failed, Elon was entitled to receive no salary, no cash bonuses, and no equity that would vest simply by the passage of time under the award. But if Elon was able to make it happen, you and all other stockholders would reap the benefits.
Here's the thing. If you have to incentivize someone who, at the time, held 22% of the company, a stake that even at that time was worth billions upon billions, you've simply got a very greedy CEO. His counterparts don't earn billions in salary. Mark Zuckerberg made a $1 salary at Meta in 2023, with other compensation totaling $24.4 million in 2023, but Zuckerberg is worth over $100 billion, so even the $24.4 mil is token money. When Jeff Bezos was CEO at Amazon, he took an annual salary of $81,840, with his additional compensation bringing the total to $1.6 million. And that did not include any stock options at all. Bezos didn't need it, compared to his fortune as well, that grows as the shares of his company rise in value when the company is successful. But Musk? Denholm didn't mention what the total compensation package Musk is demanding came to, but it's $56 billion, which is 65% more than the company has ever made in profits, a little over $33 billion in profits since 2020, if you ignore the company losses up until that date. And it is a demand being made by Musk. In fact, it's a demand connected to a threat. Musk has threatened to leave Tesla if shareholders do not provide him with this windfall, and further threatens to take company artificial intelligence IP with him for his own personal use at a new privately held company, for which he has already headhunted senior experts in the field away from Tesla.
The award worked. Elon cut the timeline in half.
A quick freeze here, because while Denholm is telling people Musk cut the timeline in half, the image on the screen is Musk pumping the second-generation Roadster, a vehicle that was unveiled in 2017, where people paid 100% deposits on this car that has still not been delivered 7 years later. That photo alone shatters the claim that Denholm is making as she's making it.
And led Tesla to hit those jaw-dropping key targets. We grew revenues from $11.8 billion to $96.8 billion, turned around profitability from $2.2 billion loss to a $15 billion profit, increased the value of the company from $53.7 billion to more than $790 billion.
Before Denholm goes any further, let's explain the numbers she's using by showing you what's in the tiny, barely legible font footnotes at the bottom left of the frame. The 11.8 to 96.8 billion revenue growth is presented deceptively, since the 11.8 was their 2017 total. To be more accurate, she should have used the 2018 number of 21.5 or the 2019 number of 24.6, since it would take time for any meaningful changes that Musk implemented to coalesce into an increased sales or profit scenario. The $2.2 billion loss, she claims, is a little misleading. According to Statista.com, the loss for 2017 attributable to shareholders was under $2 billion, so $250 million error from Denholm, whose background is accounting. And the $15 billion net income, she stated, included a one-time $6 billion non-cash tax instrument that cannot be replicated in the future, so don't expect a number anywhere near that high for 2024. In fact, at the rate Tesla is going based off Q1 numbers, they'll be very lucky to hit $5 billion in net income in 2024. And her stated increased value from $53.7 to $790 billion is laughably convoluted. The company today stands at a market cap, not of value, and people need to learn the difference here, of $567.75 billion. So the error Denholm commits this time is around $222 billion. Further, the market cap is entirely dependent upon the share price of the company, and Denholm fails to mention the company is currently sitting at less than half of the market cap it had when the share price hit $407.36 in November of 2021, right around the same time that all the directors on the board were selling off their stakes in the company. And interestingly, none of them have bought back into the company in the past 2 years, despite the lower stock price. In fact, Denholm believes in the company's future and Musk so much that she flips 94,000 shares at a time, the same day that those options are exercised. So whether it's intentional malpractice or unintended ignorance, Denholm's statements in this segment are deceiving.
And oversaw groundbreaking innovations in artificial intelligence and sustainable energy. His success is shared by all stockholders. You saw the value of your investments increase nearly 1,100%.
We're going to get into details about the AI and sustainable energy components in the Q1 2024 call, but here's the short form. There is no evidence Musk has any advantage over any other company in robotics. Same for AI and autonomous vehicles. It can be argued based on fact that the exact opposite is true, that Tesla trails the pack. In FSD, in AI compute, and Optimus looks like a high school project compared to other recent humanoid robots unveiled by OpenAI called the Figure 1, and the newly minted, extremely articulated Atlas from Boston Dynamics. And as for sustainable energy, according to the Q1 2024 filing, Tesla Solar sold exactly no installations at all during that time frame. No mention in the spreadsheets, so how is sustainable energy even a talking point here? And the 1,100% increase Denholm mentions would only be true if, based on today's stock price, a shareholder's average on their Tesla stock was $16.46 per share. Anyone who bought after September 2019 has simply not seen an 11 times improvement in their current holdings.
Importantly, the award also aligns Elon's incentives with yours over the long term. Elon is required to hold any shares acquired through the award for 5 additional years after the option is exercised. At this time, none of those stock options have been exercised.
Some questions here. First, why does Musk need further incentivization as CEO and largest shareholder to do what's in the best interest of the company and by extension the other shareholders? And is Denholm so dense as to think that Musk couldn't or wouldn't sell the shares he's currently holding onto instead of the ones that he is required, as she says, to hold for 5 years? For that matter, what's stopping him from putting those up as collateral for more personal loans, as he has done already through Morgan Stanley to cover billions in personal debt? You'll notice on the third point here, according to research firm Audit Analytics, Musk already had $90 billion in shares pledged against his personal loans in 2022.
The 5-year clock has not even started yet, which means Elon is incentivized to drive the same growth that we've seen over the past 5 years for many years to come.
As you can see, by the number of times Elon is mentioned, or the multiple mentions of incentivizing Elon, this vote is not for the company's benefit. It is for Elon's sole benefit, and that's probably why Denholm never mentions how much money he plans on siphoning out of the company through the exercise of options. She doesn't mention dollar value, nor does she mention the number of options in play. Next segment of the video goes into the Delaware decision.
Earlier this year, in an unprecedented decision, a Delaware court ordered the cancellation of the 2018 CEO Performance Award, which our stockholders had already approved by a large margin. As a result, Elon has not received any compensation for the past 6 years of service to Tesla, despite the astonishing growth and value creation he has overseen.
Really? Musk has not received any compensation for his service to the company? He made enough through his holdings in Tesla that he was able to cash out tens of billions of dollars over multiple tranches to buy Twitter for $44 billion. And since then, that is where Musk's priorities have been. If you don't believe that's true, look no further than his tweet history. Musk has already mentally checked out of Tesla the automaker, whether people want to accept that or not. And the value that Denholm claims Musk added to the company Well, let's see exactly how Musk got the stock price to increase so dramatically. Backing up to 2017 for two vehicles at the core of Tesla's future, Musk unveiled the Semi with convoy technology he said they could do now that beat rail, and a guarantee that the vehicle would not break down for 1 million miles. Along with the second generation Roadster. That vehicle had a battery with a 1,000-kilometer range, and nobody ever received that or the car. In 2018, Musk tweeted that the company was going private at $4.20 a share. The resulting fraud investigation cost Musk the chair of the company and a $40 million fine. In 2019, Musk was promising Tesla owners 1 million robo-taxis on the road by 2020 that could make their owners $30,000 a year. Buying anything other than a Tesla, therefore, would be like buying a horse. In 2020, Musk was telling Tesla buyers that FSD would make the car an appreciating asset, attributing a future $100,000 value to the software to justify a $1,000 price hike at the time. In 2021, the stock price shot towards its all-time high following a report that Hertz had entered into a 100,000 vehicle deal with the automaker. Not only did the rental company never take delivery of 100,000 cars, they have since been flogging off their electric fleet due to costs of operation and repairs. In fact, the move to EV cost the head of Hertz his job. In 2021, Musk unveiled the D1 Dojo chip to great fanfare, but since then it has been quietly replaced by the third-party H100s from NVIDIA. Hard to claim an industry advantage when your tech is not only not proprietary, it's supplied by a third party. The same day, Musk introduced a dancing clown as an analog for his Optimus robot, and every video demonstration since the laughable live demo has been proven out to be faked with either CGI or mimicry using haptic gloves. Also in 2021, Musk had promised great advances in battery tech, including a mystery process by which he promised to liberate lithium from clay using salt water. And he unveiled the 4680, a larger cell that is prone to delamination that even Panasonic can't get a handle on producing yet. During that time frame, there was also the Flying Roadster using SpaceX cold gas thrusters, the $35,000 Model 3 that came and went just as quickly, the bulletproof exoskeleton Cybertruck for $39,900 that has turned into a unibody kit car for twice the price and half the range. The $25,000 economy model that nobody has seen yet, that was first announced in 2020. The GigaPress technology that was going to transform the auto manufacturing process despite the presses being bought from a third-party vendor. Also, oops. The ventilators they never made at Gigafactory 2 in 2020. The home installation HVAC systems that Musk announced in 2021 out of the blue, and they disappeared also. Remember the $150,000 Model S Plaid Plus for the elite Tesla owners? Cancelled in 2021 after stringing buyers along since 2017. And of course, throughout the time frame, FSD has always been promised next year, going back to 2014, which again would turn your car into an appreciating asset. Now the current piece of fairy dust at Tesla revolves around the Optimus robot outselling the company's entire automotive side, because somehow their shoddy biped is going to redesign the economy of the entire planet so that all humans can go on vacation 24/7. We could keep going, but you get the idea. It's a non-stop series of vaporware and outright lies. Musk uses these events to pump the stock price, but as a result of them being exposed as fake, exaggerated, or deceptive, the company does not hold the value, which is why the stock price now sits clinging to 40% of its previous all-time high, which means whatever value Denholm thinks Musk added to the company was never real because it was never backed up by reality.
We don't believe one judge's opinion should void the will of millions of votes cast by all of the owners of the company, and that's you. So once again, we are asking you to make your voices heard by voting for the ratification of the 2018 Performance Award.
This is not one judge's opinion, and had it gone the other way around, Musk would have been singing the court's praises. The 201-page decision that came down was based in Delaware law and incorporated 939 footnotes that included precedent citations from similar situations. And here's why Musk lost the case, which also included Denholm as a defendant, with all the other members of the board as well. They collectively lost this case, primarily because 1. The board was found to routinely do Musk's bidding, and in doing so, they abandoned their fiduciary responsibility to the company and to the shareholders. 2. They proved this to be the case because they folded in to Musk's demands and offered no counter to the demands that Musk made that would have been more in line with reality. The board was obligated to negotiate on behalf of the shareholders, and they simply did not. 3. The board failed to disclose in the proxy that partisan directors making recommendations were not, in fact, independent, rendering the proxy incomplete and misleading. And 4. The compensation package itself, called unfathomable by the judge, was valued at 250 times the median peer compensation package for other company officers, taking over from the previous record of 11.7 times the median peer level, which just so happened to be the 2012 compensation package that Musk authored for himself at that time.
The Tesla of today is utterly transformed from the Tesla it was in 2018, thanks in large part to Elon's leadership and vision. We are on the cusp of our next great growth wave. You have seen for yourself what 5 years under the leadership of an incentivized Elon can do to the value of your investment. Protect that same value creation potential for the future.
Any company is going to see a transformation over the course of 5 years, but the Tesla of today is in decline. The growth wave Denholm speaks of is in jeopardy, as Tesla has shelved the Model 2 vehicle that wave was supposed to hitch a ride on, and the company has laid off tens of thousands of people in the past month, including several very important and long-standing department heads. The most recent launch of Cybertruck has been a debacle, to say the least. They have failed to deliver production lines on Semi, on next-gen Roadster, on robotaxis, on FSD, and the list goes on. What more incentive does Musk need to put down his phone, stand up from the toilet he tweets from, and get his head back in the game? He is supposed to be worth close to $200 billion. Does he really need another $50 billion to act in the best interest of the shareholders who created that wealth for him through their stock purchases that drove up the stock price? In fact, a case could be made that these shareholders were responsible for skyrocketing the valuation of the company, and Musk had little or nothing to do with it other than filling them up with false promises. Third segment has to do with moving the incorporation of Tesla from Delaware to Texas.
The second proposal we are asking for your support on would incorporate Tesla in Texas, our home state. Tesla is currently incorporated in Delaware, but Texas is our home. In 2021, we moved our corporate headquarters to Texas, and our largest manufacturing facility, Giga Texas, is also located in the state. Further, the board and I are also increasingly troubled by the growing uncertainty of Delaware corporate law. We believe the Texas legal system is strong and fair and more appropriate to our vision. We've received letters from thousands of Tesla stockholders, large and small, supporting a move, and we have heard you. We believe in your rights. We believe your votes matter. Delaware took away those rights and voided the outcome of your vote. So let your voice be heard and vote in favor of making Tesla's business home our legal home.
To be absolutely clear about what's happening here, the move is not being considered for the benefit of the company. There's a reason why 1.4 million legal entities, including 2/3 of the Fortune 500 companies, have incorporated in Delaware. And one of the reasons is the one that Musk is trying to escape. The Delaware Court of Chancery is the preeminent business court in the US, with a stellar international reputation. And the vice chancellor on the Tornado case, Kathleen St. Jude McCormick, gave Musk a much-needed, long overdue, yet totally unexpected, slap upside the head in this case, and Musk is still pissed about it. If Musk actually thought he had a legal leg to stand on, he'd be doing what is required to file an appeal, but instead, he's trying to run away to Texas and take the company with him. Of course, there remains the question of whether or not Delaware will even let Musk relocate the company, and they do have a right to refuse it. The proposed move to Texas is Musk acting in his own best interest, so that he can pull an end run around the Delaware court, or at least so he thinks, as he refuses to file a replacement compensation package with Judge Kathleen St. Jude McCormick to finalize the Delaware case. There's no benefit to the shareholders of the company if Tesla moves to Texas. Certainly nothing critical to the success of the company, as Denholm stated at the outset. In fact, those shareholders will have caused themselves harm because Texas does not have a business court similar to the Court of Chancery in Delaware. The good news, according to Bloomberg, is that any shareholder could sue the company for weakening the shareholders' rights by moving the company away from Delaware, where they are more protected. This is, as it has always been, about Musk and only Musk. And if you've been paying attention throughout her spiel, Denholm would convince you that the company lives and dies with Elon Musk, that he single-handedly built out every line and solved every problem and was solely responsible for everything good that ever happened at that company.
These two proposals are incredibly important to the future of our company. We are asking you to make your voice be heard and your vote heard by voting for these two proposals. For more information, including how to vote your shares, please visit votetesla.com.
So let's go through this again in summary with what Denholm told you versus what she didn't tell you. Denholm told you to vote yes to ratify the 2018 compensation plan for Musk. She didn't tell you what that compensation package included, in either dollar terms nor in share count. That information is also lacking from the investment relations page for Proposal 4, with no mention of the value of the award. Further, Denholm didn't tell you what the company specifically receives from Musk in terms of care and attention, which was one of the sticking points in the original plan because nowhere in that document was Musk actually required to show up for work. Denholm told you the Delaware court ruled against the compensation package Musk authored for himself and pretended that the court overrode the will of the shareholders. What she didn't tell you is that the court was looking out for the shareholders' best interest. Because the compensation package was egregiously oversized, the board was found to be neglecting the fiduciary duties to the company, the board failed to negotiate a better deal, and the board failed to include all necessary and accurate information in the proxy document. By submitting the exact same agreement for ratification, the board has still not acted in the best interest of the company by negotiating a better deal for the company, and they still have not disclosed the omissions from the original 2018 proxy document, which means even if this is approved by the shareholders at large, it can still be contested by any shareholder, but now it has an existing precedent under the exact same conditions, whether that's in Delaware or in Texas. Denholm told you it is in the critical best interest of the company to reincorporate in Texas and to vote yes, which makes no sense whatsoever. What she didn't tell you is that the move would specifically benefit Musk as he attempts to ignore the Delaware ruling against him because he knows he would lose an appeal. And Denholm did not tell the shareholders in the video that Musk is demanding this vote to go through, threatening to leave the company unless he receives 25% of the shares in the company to regain a controlling interest, and included in that threat is the further threat of corporate theft of company IP that Musk has stated he will take as if it's his personal property with him to a private enterprise. As the chair of the board, if Denholm is going to go through any of the points being voted on, it would be responsible for her to go through all the votes on the proxy with equal fervor. It is her responsibility to ensure shareholders are given all the information available prior to making their decision, which she did not do in this video. And as chair, once that information is distributed, it is not her place to try to sway a vote one way or another. Her language should be neutral. In both cases, she has told the shareholders how to vote, in breach of business ethics and her required neutrality as chair of the board. It is up to the SEC to determine whether or not Denholm acted illegally in this video, but in our opinion, she has certainly and intentionally acted unethically, and she should be tendering her resignation at her earliest opportunity. Considering that ISS was calling for her to be fired a year ago for her failure to reel Musk in, her departure from the company is already long overdue. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of The Common Sense Skeptic. We'll get back to work on the 2024 Q1 call dissection and hopefully get that out for release in a few days. It just seemed that with Tesla shareholders already voting on these issues, that they deserve to know everything that Robyn Denholm did not tell them. Discussion is welcomed in the comments, and so is sharing this video with your friends, leaving a thumbs up, and ringing that notification bell so that you'll know when The Common Sense Skeptic returns.
I'm Robyn Denholm, Chair of the Tesla Board of Directors. I'm about to record a video asking you to vote to give the enormous man-baby, Elon, his 2018 comp package. If you don't approve it, he's going to throw one almighty shit fit. Now there's no question that would be funny as fuck. But after the LOLs have worn off, the insufferable prima donna is going to throw his toys out of the pram, quit Tesla, and crash the stock price. And that's not really in our best interest. So let's just get it done and give the annoying prick what he wants.